to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluwashindara, and if this is your first time, thank you. And this YouTube channel I talk about faith, career, relationships, lifestyle, and every other good stuff. So if you are interested, stay back. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not subscribed, and if you are a subscriber, thank you. Also, don't forget to press the notification bell so that whenever I post a video or a new content, you'll be the first person to know. So we are on our way to 300 subscribers, and please help me share my content. Let me know the kind of videos you want me to post going forward, and engage with my content. That way, I'm motivated to do more videos. Thank you in advance. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I promised I was going to talk about in my last video, and that is answering a question you don't even know about or you don't have experience about. Now that relates with interviews. I know that no matter how you prepare, see, one of the things that if you ask someone how do I ace an interview, the first thing they're going to tell you is prepare. Yes, preparation cannot be underestimated, right? You need to prepare for every interview you want to go for. But also let me tell you that it is important that you have an idea of the fact that no matter how you prepare, no matter how you prepare, you're going to have one or two questions that are going to put you off guard, and you're going to be like, oh, I don't even know. You don't even have an answer to it. You don't even think that in your wildest dream they are going to ask you, and you begin to frigid, you begin to lose guard, you're scared. What are you supposed to do? Now, I know that this is something that will interest you, right? So if you think that you want me to tell you the secrets, the things that you're supposed to do, or how to answer these questions, sit back, grab a cup of something drinkable or chewable or munchables, and let's go on this journey together. So the first thing I'm going to say is, when you are asked a question, you ask the question and you don't even have an idea of how to answer the question, or you don't have an experience in that field, or you don't even know what to say and how to answer that question. And I'm going to also be telling you what you should not do when you ask those questions. So now I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do. So now let's start with what to do. The first thing is, do not panic, be calm. Be calm, calm down, take a deep breath, just breathe in and breathe out, and just be calm. You know why I said be calm? Because a lot of times interviewers ask questions not because they want you to give an answer, but they want to lose you. They want to see you lose guard. They want to see you lose your confidence. They want to see how you are able to handle questions that you don't have an answer to. They want to see how you're able to handle situations that you're clueless about. Do you get? So they want to see how you're going to handle that question. They want to see your demeanor. They want to see how you handle tough questions or tough situations, as the case may be. So it's really not about the answer sometimes. It's about your demeanor. It's about your action. It's about how you look, how you turn out to look after the question is being asked. So just calm down and do not put yourself under pressure. Just take a deep breath, be calm, and do not act like you don't know the answer. Sometimes one of the things I do when I'm asked those kind of questions, it's better online, because when you're doing something virtual, you could just chuckle, you could smile, you get that kind of thing. But when you're faced physically, it's easy to for them to see that you are scared. Do you understand? So what I do is that I just put a smile, and I'm like, you get that kind of thing. Not like, they can see that I'm processing my thoughts, not that I'm very uncomfortable or I'm totally clueless. The next thing is, take your time coming up. Take your time to say what you want to say. It's better to be silent than to be silent and taken as a fool than to talk out or speak out and totally clear up their doubt. Let them know that yes, you are a fool completely. Do you understand? Do not be silent. Do not be silent and now just don't know what to say and all of that. Take your time. Oh, can you give me a few minutes to think about that? Or can you just give me a few minutes to put up my thought process together? A good recruiter is going to say, oh, okay, fine. They're not going to give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes to think about it, but they're going to give you a few seconds, some minutes to think about what you want to say, and then by that way you can be able to just look at what. Sometimes you even know the answer. Sometimes it might be because you're on the hot seat and then you just forgot the answer. When you're not leaving, I'll be like, this scenario has happened to me before now. But you are able to handle a difficult boss. You know that in that kind of response, you cannot totally make it look like the boss is a wicked person, because when you talk about your boss in a very ill manner, it says so much about you yourself, and then some people will not even recruit you because of that. So you want to answer your question showing how you were able to handle a difficult boss, at the same time not making your boss look completely bad. And that can be very tricky, right? I mean, sometimes you even know the answer, but you're just wondering, how do I say this and it doesn't come out bad and doesn't come out looking like I'm bringing down my boss. So you need to take a few minutes. Oh, can you give me a few minutes to think about it? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I mean, I know a lot of answers to this question, but I'm just thinking of the best one to say at this point. So can you just give me a few minutes? Let me just think about it and get back to you. You get that kind of, like you're ending the call if you're on a virtual call. If you're having a virtual interview, not like you're working out when you're having a physical interview. You're just giving them, just giving you time to just look at it and just think about it and all of that. That's another way to answer this question. That's another thing to do when you're faced with this kind of question. The next thing is think out loud. Sometimes, I told you earlier that it's not about the answer. Sometimes it's about your actions. It's about your demeanor. Are you able to process your thoughts when you're asked questions like this? So sometimes it's just better to say, just like articulate your thoughts, speaking out loud. But you're not like answering them. You're just like articulating your thoughts like, oh, so firstly, okay, then after that, okay, so lastly, you get that kind of thing. They are hearing you, but you're not speaking to them. You're talking, you're trying to articulate your thought process, but you're just thinking out loud so that they can see that, oh, okay, she has an idea, but she's trying to put her thoughts together. Truth is, you might really know more about idea, but you're just like, okay, so, okay, sorry, just give me a few minutes. Let me pull myself together. All right, so, firstly, I would have to do this, and then after that, I want to do that, and then after that. You get that kind of thing, like, they are hearing you talk, but you're not speaking to them, but they can see that, oh, you're trying to get your thoughts together, and you're trying to come up with something really meaningful, and that way, see, that alone can just make you be the person that they will pick, and doesn't just make you look like, so that might just be like a plan. Just ask you that kind of question and just put your let you lose guard, and then they pick the person who's able to articulate their thought process. So yes, this might be your next saving grace in the next interview. Tell me to you. So the first one is redirect your conversation to something that you are more confident about. So for example, you ask the question that's to do with social media marketing and you do not have an experience in social media marketing. Now there are two ways to answer that question. Is either you say, oh, I don't have an idea about social media marketing, but I am very grounded in SEO process. That's optimization process. I'm very good with my search engine optimization process. I'm very good about everything, social media community building. But I'm also trying to so you guys, you're trying to talk about the process of social media building. Do you understand? Instead of social media marketing, because you have more experience in social media building than social media marketing. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. If it's so like that way, you've like channeled your energy into something that you're very conversant with, escaping the one that you're not conversant with. Also, you can now say, oh, that was one of the reasons why why I applied for this job, because I wanted to get more experience in social media marketing. As of now, I have bigger experience, or 3 years accumulative experience with social media community building. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So you're channeling your energy to something that is similar, that you're very convenient with talking about, not the one that they asked you that you don't have an experience or you don't know how to answer. So for example, they say, how are you able to deal with an irate customer? So you could say, oh, I really haven't had a conversation with an irate customer. There was a time that I was able to deal with an irate stakeholder, or there was a time I was able to deal with an irate supplier. Do you understand? So in a customer service setting, you most likely should have actually spoken to an irate customer before. But if you have really not spoken to an irate customer before, you don't have an experience in talking, you don't know how irate customers are. Maybe you'll be very lucky. Irate customers have never landed on your laps, and so. But then you've had to talk with irate suppliers, or you've had to talk to your boss when it was really angry, because irate means that someone is really like foaming, angry, and all of that. So you can now use that experience to, oh, so there was a time I was being like, you get, so you're confident about talking about the one you've had experience with rather than the one you've not had experience about. So you can channel that to another similar. Now I said similar, not something entirely different, something similar. They're asking about a skill set that you do not have, but you have something very similar to that skill set. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And last but not the least, I'm going to say, you're going to thank me for this. You remember, if you watch any of my interview videos, you will know that I've spoken about having a follow-up email after your interview. Like, That is so important. If you've not been doing that, I beg you, please do that. Always have a follow-up email, always have a thank you email after every interview, even if it's a phone call interview. Once you have your email address, immediately after the email, and now immediately after the call, I always say immediately, because if you try to postpone it, you most likely will forget, and it won't make sense if you're sending it 3 days after. You understand if you're a Christian, you understand you understand the Bible when they talk about the 10 lepers that was healed, and only one came back to say thank you, and you understand the importance of saying thank you and being appreciative or showing gratitude, right? So it's very important that after every interview that you do, you send a follow-up email to say thank you. Now, in all the interviews that you might have been doing this a lot of times, and it really doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, right? You've sent it to some people and they didn't even mean, and it didn't change the fact that whether you're going to get employed or not. Believe me, there are days when it's going to work out. Don't stop because you've been sending thank you emails and it has not changed anything. Sometimes it might change something. You don't even know when it's going to change something. So keep doing it. And the fact that people are not reacting to something that they don't see it. They do see it, and they might just be impressed, but really won't be able to pick you. And they might even refer you to somebody else. I've seen a time that a recruiter recruited somebody. She wasn't the best person on the team. I mean, she had better people, but later on, when a colleague of ours, or like an external colleague, not in that same organization, needed that same role to be filled, she told her that she referred to someone she had interviewed, and the person really wowed, and then she referred her. Yes, a recruiter referred her to another person. So it's possible. So just keep doing what you're doing, and don't stop because you're not seeing results. That being said, I want to talk about follow-up emails or thank you mails. So after the interview, you could send a follow-up email, a thank you mail, and in your thank you mail you could say, so similar to the question that you asked me, in line with the question you asked me during the interview, I've done a few research, and these are my responses, or this is my response. Do you understand? So you can put your response back. If you've not answered the question comfortably, or if you're not satisfied with the answer you gave during the interview, you can now say, so this is my response. This is what I think about the question you asked, or this is my answer to the question you asked. That way the person also sees that you want to make sure that the person is impressed, and you took time to go and check up researches and just to do something really better. It shows that you can go the extra mile, and you just want to just make sure that you succeed at what you're doing. It pulls up, it rubs off to the interviewer as you being a good candidate a lot of times. Yeah, so those are the things. I've given you 5 things that you can do when you're asked the question that you don't have an answer to. So now, what are you not supposed to do? Like, what should you not do if you're asked the question you don't have an answer to? Number 1 is do not lie. Did you hear me at the back? Do not lie. That's a no. Because, see, a lot of times, forget the fact that a lot of people enter into human resource, and from chemistry, because really the people that own the career are human resource, people that study human resource in school, people that study psychology, people that study business administration, and so they are trained to know when you're lying and when you're not. But then over the years, when you begin to do the same thing over and over again, you don't have to be a psychologist to know when somebody is doing something wrong or when somebody is lying. Do you understand? So I for one can know when you're lying, and I will keep probing until when it is obvious you're lying, and then you don't have an answer again. Don't lie. Do not lie. Try to think about it. Try to come up with something similar. Do you understand? If you are totally clueless about it, try to answer something very similar that you have experience in, but do not lie. Once you're caught lying, forget. That's the end of the interview. Like, whatever you say again, you've lost them already. So do not lie. Another thing is, don't be afraid. I know I said it first time, that calm down, do not be pressured. Don't be afraid. Don't show up like, oh God, I'm so scared. Don't be visibly uncomfortable. Like, just sit down, because I told you earlier, I said they are not asking questions because they want to get the answer. Sometimes some questions are not asked because they want to get the answer. Sometimes it's because they want to see your demeanor, they want to see your action, they want to see how you react when you're faced with this situation. So coming off to say, oh, I don't know the answer, or you're scared, comes off, rubs off on them like you're not prepared, rubs off on them like you're not the best candidate. So don't start fidgeting, don't start getting scared, don't start feeling so scary, don't be visibly uncomfortable, and also do not be afraid. And the last one I'm going to say, I've said this 1,001 times in this video, and it is, don't say I don't know. That's the reason why I'm doing this video. When people say, oh, I don't know the answer. In an interview, how should you not know the answer? You should. Because that's why I said that. I don't know why people don't hear what, but I keep saying that if you don't have an iota of experience in a job, do not apply. Because if you have experience in this job, that is when if you claim that you have experience in the job, or you have like a year experience, when they ask you a question, there's nothing you'll be able to say you don't know, because you have an idea of what it's about, right? So if you're saying you don't know, or you've never had this situation, when they ask you situational questions like, tell me about a time you were able to undo conflict within your team members, and you are a manager and you say you've never, wow, really? You want that I'm more conversant with a lot of times when they ask you, so what's your weakness, and you're like, I don't have. Wow. Really? Is there anybody in this planet Earth that does not have a weakness? Everybody has weakness. So rather than saying you don't have, try to actually think about it. Sit down and think about it. So really, what is my weakness? Like, what am I bad at? And you don't want to also now come up to say, oh, so I'm bad at I love to sleep, I love to play music at work. Or do you get those kind of things that really shows that you shouldn't be employed, really? But you cannot make those weaknesses become strength. If you are thinking about how I can make my weakness strength, then you should go back to watch my videos, my interview videos, and you can see how I explain that. Also, you can send me an email if you're stuck with an interview. You can send me an email. My email is in the description box, and tell me what you're stuck with, and I would give you an appropriate response to that. You can also message me on my social media accounts, telling me, give me your scenario and let me explain to you or tell you how to answer those questions, so that next time you're asked a question, you don't come back to say I don't know, or you don't tell the recruiter I don't know. It is very bad. So thank you very much for watching to the end. Thank you very much for listening to the end of this video. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and till the next time you watch me or I come back to tell you something, remain blessed. I love you. Bye. Subscribe.